the world be without coffee? After water, coffee is the second most widely consumed beverage in the world, at more than 1,400 million cups per day. But how do you know everything that happens, from the grain until it reaches your table? Here we will discuss more about that process. Cafe Cascajal is cultivated approximately 1,400 meters above sea level, producing a quality coffee. It all starts from a single coffee seed, which we foster until the point of maturity and harvest. To prepare the plots, which can be maintained in the ground or air, the seeds are watered in specific methods and are covered with a thin layer of earth. We then cover the plot with grass for 60 days to protect the seed from direct sun. The next step in the process is germination, which lasts approximately 60 days. We then transplant the coffee plant to the bag. This type of transplant is comprised of both a long period and a short period. After that process, two sheets called cotyledons will appear, which feed the embryo and allows it to begin to develop. Then begins the stage of development, which takes place for 6 months in a greenhouse. During this time, the plant is monitored until the entire group of plants are ready to transplant directly to the field. When it is taken to the field, we check to maintain that the hole measurement is 30 by 40 centimeters deep, so as to implement at least 1 pound of organic matter. After 2 years in the ground, the plant begins to flower, from which it will begin to yield grains, ready to harvest. The coffee beans then reach an optimum point of maturity, demonstrating a bright red color, which indicates that it is ready to be cut. Coffee is then taken to be weighed and soaked until taken to a different area of our plantation. After being cleansed, the coffee is taken to its next process, which consists of dispulping the bean and washing the grains. Dropped into a pile of fermentation, which has a duration between 8 to 12 hours. When it reaches the point of complete fermentation, it is stored in a silo to drain out the water. The dump trucks collect the coffee to be transferred to the courtyards, where the next process consists of drying the beans for 3 to 4 days, depending on the temperature of the sun. The coffee then goes through the process of drying via a specialized machine that is responsible for determining if the coffee has reached between 11 to 12 degrees of moisture. The coffee that has reached maturation to this point of moisture is collected and transferred in bags during the process of weighing, after which it is stored in the winery. Once dry, this grain is known as the parchment coffee, which is a grain covered by a shell known as the husk. The coffee is received in a reception tank that is responsible for raising the coffee to a machine called the pre-cleanser that takes out all the extra debris found within the coffee. Then the coffee is transferred to a machine called a cleanser. This machine removes all the stone found within the coffee plant by means of movements and tilting. The machine also contains bar magnets for any metal which may have been collected with the coffee plant. The process of threshing is responsible for separating the sleeve from the bean. While a part of the machine peels the coffee, the other part polishes it, removing the mucilage. The coffee is then transferred to the machines, which classify the coffee by size. The machine uses a tilting movement to indicate which beans are the best size for the product, in order to obtain the greatest quality of taste for our customers. If the bean is of the required size, it passes through the weighing machine, which separates the coffee by density. Then the coffee passes through yet another machine, where it is separated by color, and is then dropped to separate the faulty beans, which tend to burst in the air. Toasting is one of the most sensitive steps within the coffee making process, because it is during this step that the aromas, flavors, and smells that will be reflected in the cup are developed. At this point, the coffee is transferred to the ovens, and the toaster is constantly monitored in order to reach the perfect level of roast. After being roasted, the beans pass through a machine, and its process will take a reasonable amount of time mixing the roasted coffee depending on its specific type. It is here where each grain is grinded into a dusty texture. Part of the process of the coffee is also tasting, which allows us to evaluate attributes, qualities, and defects. It operates as a tool of quality control and takes place where the coffee is roasted and exported. After the process of tasting the coffee, it is taken to machines where it is packaged in different ways. During the process responsible for packaging, every bag is counted for packaging and then is prepared to be transferred to supermarkets and shops. A human team makes the whole process for the marketing and distribution of Cafe Cascajal to various places in Guatemala and around the world, since our coffee standards and certifications allow us to export a quality coffee to many different places. We also believe in social responsibility, which is why we provide spaces worthy to our workers. Areas of education for their children. And health clinics. Coffee is the perfect accompaniment to every minute of your day. And in Cafe Cascajal, we are committed to the quality of our products. Therefore, day by day we innovate and prepare products with the highest standards of production and quality possible here in Guatemala.